$1 million house does not cost what you think it costs. And here's the part that's going to catch you off guard. Most of the time, it isn't even a jumbo loan. This one is for the person who's pulled $1 million listing late night, half dreaming, and told themselves two things. That house is for rich people. And even if I could swing it, that's some giant jumbo mortgage I'd never qualify for. Maybe you're a few strong years into a real career and that number is finally got crazy. Maybe you're just curious what it actually takes. Either way, stay with me because I'm a licensed mortgage broker. I've spent more than 20 years writing these loans. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to build the real all-in monthly cost of $1 million house from the ground up. Not the naked mortgage payment the internet quotes you, the true number. Taxes, insurance, the real mortgage insurance trap, and the one line every online calculator quietly leaves off. And I'm going to show you the twist that decides whether this house is brutally expensive or shockingly reasonable. And it comes down to a single dollar. Most buyers have never heard of. Let's build it. Quick, honest note before the numbers. I'm a licensed broker, but this is education, not financial advice for your exact situation. Rates move and property taxes and insurance swing hard from state to state. So your numbers will land different from my clean round ones. The math still teaches you exactly what to look for. And that's the part you're here for. And real quick, so you know exactly what this channel is. You bring me a scenario, your price, your situation, the what if that has been in your head, and I will build a whole video around it. A run your numbers on camera, start to finish. That's the whole idea here. Today, it's $1 million house. So keep your numbers in the back of your mind. So let's start where everybody starts, the mortgage payment. You pull up your calculator, you put in $1 million. You put 20% down and it hands you a loan of $800,000. At today's rates, we're going to call it 6.5% on a 30-year fix. That's about a $800,000 loan runs about $5,057 a month. And most people stop right there. $5,000 a month, mystery solved. But that number is wearing a costume. That's the principal and interest. The loan itself and nothing else. On a house this size, the payment is only about 2/3 of what actually leaves your bank every month. The other third is standing just off screen. In a $1 million house, the part hiding off the screen is enormous. All right, here. Since we just pulled the mask halfway off, do me a favor and tap the like button. The channel is small and one tap tells YouTube to show this to the next person who thinks $1 million house is automatically out of reach. It's free, it takes 1 second, and it generally helps these videos coming. Okay, let's drag the hidden third in sight. Start with property taxes. On $1 million home, at a national average rate of 1.1% of the value every year, you're looking at about $917 a month. And that's before the loan is even part of the conversation. And I have to be straight with you. Taxes are where these numbers get personal. 1.1 is a national average. In some states, your rate is half that. In other states, it's nearly double, which on $1 million home can be well over $1,500 a month in taxes alone. Same house, same loan, widely different bill, purely because the county line you bought your house inside of. Next is homeowner's insurance. On a home this size, budget around 0.7% of the value per year, which is about $583 a month. And just like taxes, that's an average. hiding a huge range. If this house sits somewhere with hurricanes, wildfires, and flood risk, that premium can climb fast. So already before we've talked about a single dollar of the actual loan, taxes and insurance together are running you about $1,500 a month. That is the whole mortgage payment for a lot of the country. And on this house, it's just the cost of holding the keys. Let's stack it all up. $5,057 for the loan, $917 for taxes, $583 for insurance, and those numbers together in your real payment, what the industry calls PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is about $6,557 a month. And notice, we just added roughly $1,500 on top of the payment the calculator showed you. But I promised you the true cost. And here's one more line. The line every online calculator conveniently forgets, because admitting it makes the house look expensive. Maintenance. A house is a machine with a roof. And a good rule is that it costs you about 1% of its value every year just to keep it standing. Roof, HVAC, water, heater, paint, the surprise that shows up on Saturday. $1 million house, that's about $833 a month you should set aside, whether you spend it or not. And that and the true all-in cost to owning a $1 million house lands about $7,390 a month. And that's a true honest number, not $5,074. Screenshot that if it's the only thing in the video that you get. Here's where almost everybody gets the story wrong, and that is the villain of today's video. The internet has trained you to believe that $1 million house means two things automatically: that you need to be pulling in some enormous income, and that you're stuck with a jumbo loan. The big, scary, harder to qualify mortgage with stricter rules and higher rates. To people who could actually do this, talk themselves out of it before they ever call a broker, because they assume the door is jumbo only. And jumbo means no. That's the millionaire-home myth. And it falls apart the second you learn one number. Here's the twist. There is a line in the mortgage world called the conforming loan limit. The biggest loan you can get that still counts as a normal conventional mortgage instead of a jumbo. Right now in most of the country, that limit on a single family home is $832,750. Look back at our house. $1 million, 20% down is a loan of $800,000. $800,000, that is under $832,750, which means the loan on this $1 million house, as long as you put down 20%, is not a jumbo loan at all. It's a plain conventional mortgage that has a rate of 6.5% with none of the jumbo baggage. The $1 million house, most people assume, is locked behind the hardest door in lending, actually walks the easiest standard door, as long as you know where the line is. And that easy door is generally cheaper in ways that don't show up on the payment. The real reason is it's easier, it's simple once you own it. A conforming loan is one a lender can turn around and sell to big backers that stand behind most of the country's mortgages. So the rules are standardized and the money is cheaper. A jumbo loan sits on the lender's own books, so they get pickier and they charge for risk. That's the whole difference in one sentence. And it's why staying under the line matters so much. When your loan stays conforming, you get the standard rate, conventional rate, the standard rules. And this is the big one: no reserve requirement. I'll explain reserves in a second because they matter a lot on the jumbo side. But the headline is this: a 20% down, true cost is about $7,390 a month. Your down payment is $200,000 and your closing costs run roughly 3%. Call it $30,000. So your total cash to walk in the door is about $230,000 and nothing extra locked up in a reserve account. That is the cheap path. Most people never find it because they never learned that one limit exists. Watch what happens when you try the smart move everyone recommends. Put less down to keep more cash in your pocket. Say you put down 10% instead of 20. Your down payment drops to $100,000, which feels great. But your loan jumps to $900,000. And $900,000 is over that $832,750 line you just crossed into jumbo territory. And crossing that line triggers three things at once. Your rate ticks up. Jumbo money on this profile is closer to 6.75. So your principal and interest climbs to about $58.37 a month. Two, because you're now under 20%, you owe private mortgage insurance. Call it $600 a month of pure insurance that protects the lender, not you, pushing your real payment, PITI, to about $79.37 a month. And your true all-in cost with maintenance, about $8,771 a month. And three, the one nobody warned you about, is reserves. Here's what reserves are. On a jumbo loan, your lender just doesn't want your down payment and your closing costs. They want to see that after you've paid all that, and you still have somewhere between 6 and 12 months of full house payments sitting in your account. Liquid, untouched, proof you don't miss a payment if life happens. On this house, 6 to 12 months, that payment is roughly $48,000 to $95,000. And that's on top of the $100,000 down payment and closing costs. So the move that was supposed to save you cash by putting less down actually demands more cash sitting in the bank at a higher rate, with mortgage insurance stapled on. That is the trap hiding inside of just putting a 10% down payment. So the real question isn't 20 versus 10. It's what the least I can put down and still stay on the cheap, conforming side of the line. And the math is clean. The line is $832,750. Your price is $1 million, subtract that, and the biggest loan that keeps you conforming means putting down $167,250. Call it a down payment around 17%. Cross above that line, cash, and you're conforming. Standard rate, PMI, no reserves. Fall below it, and you're tumbled into a jumbo world with all three penalties. That single household, a hair under 17% down, is the most important number on $1 million house. And I bet almost nobody you've quoted has gave you a payment has ever mentioned it. There's one more wrinkle, and it's the reason your situation may not match my clean numbers exactly. This is where your zip code writes the rules. That $832,750 limit is the baseline for most of the country. But in the most expensive counties, there's a higher ceiling, up to about $1,249,125 to be exact. So you're buying one of those high cost areas, even 10% down could still count as conforming because the line is drawn higher there. Location literally describes whether your same $1 million house is a jumbo or not. This is exactly the kind of thing that changes county by county. And getting it wrong costs you thousands. So if you want me to check whether you fall in the line for your actual price, your actual county, that's literally my job. And real quick, That's the whole pitch here. Today's video is brought to you by, well, me. There's no big sponsor. This channel is my business. I'm a licensed mortgage broker, and if you're buying or refinancing the next few months, this is generally what I do all day. So book a free 15-minute call, no pressure, no pitch, and I'll walk through the numbers with you and tell you what you really qualify for. Scan the code on the screen or tap the link in the description, and it's in the pinned comment, which is the comment at the very top. All right, back at it. Let me be honest about the shockingly reasonable framing glossing over, because honestly, this is the whole point of the channel. Yes, the number is easier than you thought, but $7,390 a month still needs income to carry it. On my honest budget, where housing payment stays around 28% of your gross income, the number that lets you own the house and not your life, $1 million house wants an average income of about $281,000 a year. That's real. Now, a bank will absolutely approve you for this house on a lot less. Stretch that ratio to the max, and the lender might greenlight the payment on a income closer to $183,000. And that is the exact trap I warn every client about. Just because the bank says yes at $183,000 doesn't mean this house won't quietly eat your life. On $1 million home, the bank's max approval is where one bad year turns a dream house into a for sale sign. Buy the house your honest budget carries, not the one that the bank's maximum allows. And one more truth about that maintenance line: 1% a year is average. If that house is older, or it's a big property with a pool and acreage and complicated systems, that number could be 2, 3, even 4%. On $1 million house, the true cost can climb higher than my clean estimate, never lower. So let's put the whole thing on one screen. This is the screenshot moment. Grab it. A $1 million home with 20% down, that's a loan of $800,000, which is under the conforming limit. So it's normally, a conventional loan right now is around 6.5%, not a jumbo. Principal and interest is about $5,057 a month. Taxes about $917, insurance about $583. That's a real payment of $6,557. Add maintenance, it's $833. And the true all-in cost is about $7,390 a month. Cash to get into the door is about $230,000. $200,000 down plus $30,000 in closing costs and zero reserves. Honest income to carry it comfortably is about $281,000. And the golden rule underneath all of it: put down at least 17%, $167,250, to stay cheap on the conforming side of the line, and dodge the jumbo rate with the PMI and the reserves. That's the entire $1 million house on one screen. That's the real math the internet doesn't show you, because it's not even a jumbo. Don't sell fear like scary payment does. And remember what I told you at the start. This channel runs on scenarios. So drop in yours in the comments: your price, your down payment, your situation you're actually in. The best ones I build into a whole video, just like this one. I read every single one. And subscribe, not for me, but for you. It's how the video I show from your comment actually shows up on the screen instead of getting lost. Next is a $2 million house, a real jumbo everywhere, where the numbers get genuinely wild. And after that, the next one could be yours. I'll see you in the next one.